I rarely, if almost ever, do a video or whatever giving my thoughts post Raw, my post Monday Night Raw thoughts. I usually don't do like post game shows. I know a lot of people on YouTube and other places, podcasts, do them. I usually don't, but this episode of Raw tonight, October 22nd, 2018, is quite the newsworthy show. A lot of things happened. The company decided to go in new directions, and tragedy, occurred or was revealed on this show. Real life, non-storyline tragedy, and the company is getting dealt a major blow, and they're doing their best to kind of hit the reset button on this show and get things going. So let's get the obvious out of the way. Roman Reigns comes out to open the show and reveals that he has leukemia, which is a form of cancer. Now, he's had it. He's been fighting it for 11 years. It went away. Now apparently it's coming back. There was a very weird sort of situation that happened this past weekend where Roman Reigns was booked on 3 different house shows this past weekend, 3 different non-televised events, and he did not appear. Now, there were rumors circulating that he was injured. I heard people say he might have failed a test or something like that. There was a lot of rumors about why Roman would not be on these shows because he was advertised. And for a star as big as Roman, who's constantly getting pushed as the top guy, for him not to show up on a main event of a show, is a major thing. It's not like it's an undercard guy. It's the top guy on Raw. So why would this happen? Well, we found out that Roman was going to vacate the WWE Universal title because he has to go take care of this leukemia, which, like I said, is a form of cancer. And that really opened the show as a bummer. It was a bummer moment. It's a sad moment. The Shield came out there crying. They were in tears. And this was a real life thing. Right, and what wound up happening is by the end of the show, they turned a real-life situation into a way to give Dean Ambrose some of the biggest nuclear heat ever. And I, for one, am perfectly fine with it. Roman Reigns, I send him my best wishes. I have dealt with cancer in my life, in my family. I've had several family members of mine die of cancer. It's a very serious thing. And I hope that he forget wrestling, honestly. Look, I hope he comes back to wrestling, but at the very least, I want him to be a father to his children more important than anything wrestling. If this guy wants to retire and just live the rest of his days with his family, hey, Godspeed, bro. If he wants to come back, I'm sure he's going to come back. Everybody on the show was very respectful to him. Even Braun Strowman and Paul Heyman, who were feuding with him, essentially, Ray Heyman, of course, representing Lesnar, were very kind to him on the show, which I knew they would be. It was done very tasteful. And so Roman won't be around for a while. And it sucks because they've really tried with this guy. He is a hard worker. No matter how you may feel about him, he is a hard worker. And they've really tried. It's incredible irony in a bad way that they've tried so hard to get him to be the guy, and he defeats Brock Lesnar finally after WWE gets cold feet about this for a while, and then literally 2 months after that, he's now unable to compete because of his cancer. It's really sad. It really is a bummer story. But I do hope he has a full recovery. At least we know that he's going to have some of the best doctors ever because WWE will help him with that. That's been talked about for a while. He's going to be okay, I'm hoping. So they opened the show with that, and it was a very newsworthy show. They had a contract signing with Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella that, really put less heat on Nikki Bella. This Evolution pay-per-view, if it ends up failing, it's going to be entirely because of the fact that the main event's not going to work. Nobody on Earth, nobody, except for maybe one person who's probably going to leave a comment on this video, thinks that Nikki Bella has a chance against Ronda Rousey. Whether it be a real fight or a fake fight, it doesn't matter. They have not positioned Nikki Bella as being a threat at all. Her sister is always there to help her. It just literally seems like this pay-per-view match, which is the main event, is going to be a squash match. I don't see how anybody could care about Ronda Rousey, Nikki Bella. Now, that being said, I really do want to see the Charlotte-Becky match. That I do want to see. That's probably the one match I'm going to tune in for, but nobody cares about Ronda and Nikki. It's a very weak main event. They could have had a ton of other women go in there against Ronda. but they chose Nikki Bella, who's just a representative of a previous era. Maybe she was the bridge of diva and women. I would like to think that the real women that changed everything was Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha. Those are the 3 women that I think changed. They really changed. The WWE's whole thing about women. Like, they really were the ones that pushed the more athletic kind of style. Nikki tried, but she was just never that great. And she never was that threatening, especially when they have her playing cowardly heel. They acknowledged the Roman Reigns things pretty much all night. There's been a lot of turns lately. I'm going to talk about the Dean Ambrose turn here in a minute, but Elias also turned babyface on this show. He whacked Baron Corbin with a guitar, which is perfect. I mean, that's exactly the right thing they should have done, and it was the right time because people are ready to cheer Elias, and I think he's going to be a great babyface. So as a result of Roman Reigns forfeiting the title, Lesnar and Strowman's going to be for the title now, and they had a segment, like I said, where Heyman came out, Strowman came out, and then Drew McIntyre kicks Braun Strowman. So McIntyre and Strowman appears to be the feud. Obviously, Strowman can feud with Ziggler as well. They both are kind of hand in hand. But after the main event with the Shield and what happened with Roman, the feud between the Shield and Ziggler and McIntyre is done. I mean, it's over. Tonight was the blow-off. We're going to get to that here in a minute. So they're going with Lesnar and Strowman as the Universal title match for the Crown Jewel show, and I'm predicting a Strowman win. I don't think Lesnar will come back. However, don't be surprised if they sign him again for a longer deal, because Cormier is fighting in November, and he wants to fight John Jones now. So Lesnar might just be waiting for the right time to come back, even though a Lesnar-Cormier fight for UFC would be great. That's the big reason why he hasn't gone to UFC. Well, no, he was going to go. It's just that this could be the big reason as to why the fight may not happen. Let me just had to rephrase that. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I don't think Brock's going to win. I think they're going to finally give the belt to Strowman. However, I don't know if he's really going to be the top guy for a very long time. We'll see how he does. He's definitely over, and he's definitely a cool guy to watch. But I do like the idea of a Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman title feud. That could be good. And while that goes on, Seth will be feuding with Dean Ambrose. Now let's talk about the big turn at the end of the show. Dean Ambrose turning on Seth Rollins. Okay, so first and foremost, we knew this turn was coming. Same thing with Elias. These things, there's been a lot of turns lately. Big Show turned, Braun turned. There's been a lot. Nikki Bella turned. They had to do that. And so the big thing is, obviously WWE is looking to hit the reset button. That's what they're looking to do. And it makes sense. I get it. But like I said, we knew that Dean Ambrose was going to turn. I thought it would happen because they talked about this for a while. They were going to have Ambrose turn and feud with Roman. That was actually the plan. He was going to feud with Roman Reigns instead at some point early next year, because the plan was for them to do that Shield three-way at WrestleMania, even though they wanted Roman Reigns against The Rock. That's what they wanted originally, but we don't know if The Rock was going to come. I reported on that one here. That was the plan, to do a Roman Reigns-Dean Ambrose feud, and obviously now that Roman's going to be out for a little while, and again, he's not retiring. He's just going to try and get rid of the cancer. He'll be back if he gets rid of it. Hopefully he will, like I said, for his family more so than just my own entertainment. I want him to take care of his kids more importantly, and he's, anyways, it sucks. It really sucks that happened to that guy, because cancer's a bitch. But we knew Dean was going to turn eventually, and they wound up doing it tonight. And obviously the plan was not for them to do it tonight. The plan was for them to do it closer to the end of the year, maybe early next year. But no, they did it tonight. And some people have been saying that it was tasteless and the wrong night to do it, and I completely disagree with that. Okay, first and foremost, Roman Reigns is not dead. Roman Reigns is still alive. He's got to deal with a huge adversity in his life, but he's still with us, and he's going to fight this thing, and we all hope that he survives it. If something tragic would have happened beyond this and Roman, God heaven forbid, wasn't alive or something, they did this, I can see why people would be outraged. I don't think this is worth being outraged for. On the contrary, this is great because it does a lot of things. This Dean Ambrose turn tonight was one of the best angles they've done in a very, very, very long time, because what it is it's a turn that we saw coming, but it's one that when we saw it, it was still shocking because nobody thought that would happen tonight. So tonight was supposed to be a celebration. Roman Reigns is out, but the Shield is stronger than ever, and they're going to win back the tag team titles. So Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins earlier in the night were crying together because of the fact that Roman Reigns is out. But those are real tears. Those tears are not storyline. So obviously, I don't have to tell you that. So Why would Dean Ambrose turn? Why is this a great turn? Because think about it. Roman Reigns vacates the belt. Dean Ambrose wins the tag team titles with Seth Rollins, putting an end to the feud with Ziggler and McIntyre. That feud is done. We're going to move on to new things. And afterward, after they got the belts, Dean Ambrose hates Seth Rollins so much that he turned on him then. He could not take another day of him being with Seth Rollins. Obviously, I think the answer as to why he turned when he does cut the promo, when he reveals it, is going to be because of something that Seth did in the past, and obviously because Roman is out. Roman can't really be his foil anymore, which I do think is part of the story here, that he's somewhat of a coward, because all villains are a little bit cowardly. Let's be real about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be villains. So, in fact, that's what villains are, is they're cowards. So, Dean Ambrose turning tonight, if him and Seth had lost the match, right, and then he turned, it would have just been same old stuff. Like, we've seen that before. Like, oh, he's mad because he lost. No, the fact that they won, and Ambrose still turned, means that his hatred for Seth Rollins is more powerful than him being a champion of the world. I love it. It's good wrestling. It's what wrestling needs. Emotion, a story, actual stakes. Dean Ambrose hates Seth Rollins. They didn't say he had a beef with Roman, but that was the plan. He hates Seth Rollins. I mean, think about it. It's brilliant. Roman vacates the belt due to an illness in a real-life story. Dean Ambrose purposely destroys Seth Rollins and lets the past. The Shield is dead. Not trying to be facetious here or malicious, but the characters of the Shield is over now. Because Dean Ambrose said no more of this nostalgia act, because many thought that's what it was. There's no need to do this to help Roman out by bringing back the Shield. So Dean Ambrose turns, like Kylo Ren said, let the past die, nuclear heat. This is the best decision WWE's made in a long time. Dean Ambrose has shot himself up to being the top heel on Raw. It was Braun Strowman for a while, for about a month. It was Lesnar for a while there too. The top heel on Raw right now, no matter what, because Lesnar's a part-timer, and I think that he won it. He earned it tonight, is Dean Ambrose. And the Dean Ambrose-Seth Rollins feud, we've seen it a billion times. This time, though, he's the heel. And it's a bit different. And I can't wait to see what they do with it. And also, the beautiful thing about this turn is when Roman does come back, because Roman might be out for just a few months or maybe a year or 2 years. You know, if he gets healthy from this leukemia, he will come back. There's no question about it. The idea of Roman coming back and attacking Dean, I'm not attacking, but having to fight Dean Ambrose, who, after he gets done with Seth Rollins, is going to want Roman to really, really put an end to the Shield forever until they go in the Hall of Fame in 15 years. I think it's perfect. Perfect turn. I love WWE hitting the reset button. I am interested. I'm invested. Obviously, Roman Reigns is a huge loss, and that top guy spot is now open to be filled. Who's going to fill that top guy spot on Raw? Will it be Seth? Will it be Elias? On SmackDown, obviously, we got AJ and Bryan as the two top guys. Babyface side. Heel side be Samoa Joe and Miz. Randy Orton actually is on his way up, too. He's about to go back to the top. But on Raw, we are missing a top babyface. And right now, Braun Strowman, I guess, is a de facto top babyface. Will Seth take his spot? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming up, and I'm excited for it. I really am excited. I hope they go old school, and I hope at Survivor Series that they do Team Seth and Team Ambrose. You know, we're both the members of the Shield. You know, we're good at, we recruited each other. Can we recruit like-minded individuals for our teams? And they do like 4-on-4 Survivor Series. I would love that. Please do that, WWE. They've been neglecting those Survivor Series matches that I grew up with, and I love them. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on Raw. I did enjoy the show. There was some boring stuff in the middle. Bobby Lashley and I guess is going to be feuding with Balor. That's fine, I guess. Balor could also be on his way to the top babyface spot. So we'll see where things go. I'm predicting they're probably going to do a Strowman-McIntyre feud, and then maybe Strowman and Bobby Lashley as a big WrestleMania match. Maybe for the belts. I don't know. We'll see. Kevin Owens is on his way. Well, will be on his way back at some point too. So things are going to get interesting. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon.